Hi, I'm Imogen. Today I am going to be doing a sort of top 5 favourite houseplants of the month, and this will be going up at the very start of July, and I'm filming this at the end of June, so I don't really know if this is a June or July favourites, but I guess if you're seeing this I will have made a decision in the title. So yeah, as the name suggests, I will be talking about my top 5 favourite houseplants at the moment. The first plant I want to show you is this Rhipsalis Ramulosa, or Rhipsalis red coral. I got this back in August as 2 cuttings, so this one with 1 leaf and this one which had 2 leaves on. I propagated them myself, it came without any roots, and now it's grown a load more leaves. You'll definitely be able to see better in the close-ups, but I think we have maybe 6 or 7 new leaves. They are at various stages of growth, so some are still quite small, but they will grow to be as large as these older leaves. If I remember rightly, it did root quite quickly. I put it in a quite humid box of sphagnum moss, but over winter it didn't really do anything and it looks a bit weird, just sort of 3 chunky leaves in a pot. But clearly it was doing something under the surface, because recently just all these new leaves have kind of popped out of nowhere. The older leaves are really sort of thick and robust. They kind of feel like the thickness of what I remember a leather belt to be like, whereas the newer ones are still growing and sort of much thinner and more floppy. And actually some of them seem to be growing straight upwards, but I guess as they grow they'll get heavier and then flop over the sides like these ones have. This Rhipsalis gets its name red coral because the newer leaves have a lovely reddish tint to them. The older leaves seem to have lost any redness. I think they had when I first got them. I can't quite remember now. If I've got an old photo of this then I'll put it on the screen, but you can see how much bushier it's looking currently. Now that it's in growing season, I am giving this fertiliser every other watering or so, so hopefully it will put out a load more leaves before it slows down for winter again. My second favourite of the month is actually a cactus, and I don't really talk about cacti much, but it is this Mammillaria Zeilmanniana, the one sort of here with the little pink flower on, which is why it's my favourite. This pot that it's in I actually got as a leaving gift from work when I moved teams, and I've just got quite a few different cacti in here. I can't easily take out the Mammillaria, so you're just going to have to ignore the euphorbia beside it. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have already seen these flowers because I just love posting them. I think they're so cute and pretty, but I thought I'd show YouTube as well. This pot is quite heavy, so I'll show you a better view in sort of a close-up video. This is just a sort of classic round Mammillaria cactus. There's one big one, which is the one flowering, and then 4 little pups, I guess? I don't really know what to call cacti babies. But the largest one is the only one that's flowered for me, and I'm maybe getting 1 or 2 blooms at a time. I have seen other pictures of this cacti where it almost has a sort of crown of flowers around the top, which looks really amazing. Mine seems to be doing staggered blooms a bit more, but as the flowers don't really last very long, I kind of prefer this, so I get constant flowers. The big cacti pot just sits on a windowsill in this room, which is my office, so I get to see it every day and see if there are any new flowers coming as well. The next plant I want to talk about is one that you'll probably recognise, and that is the Variegated string of hearts. I got this from House of Kojo back in February, so I've only had this about 5 months or so, but it has fast become one of my favourite plants. The reason that this in particular is a favourite this month is because I've put a new shelf up in this room for lots of my trailing plants to go on, and since I put it up there, I swear it's been growing more and more every single day. Along with the Hoya linearis, which I have up on that shelf as well, this is one of the longest ones and makes it kind of mesh into the plants which I have below. I'll show you it in situ so you can kind of see what I'm on about, but it just looks really dainty next to some of the other kind of bulkier plants that I have up there. This is definitely not the most variegated string of hearts out there, and I am still waiting for a bit of pink to come through. but I think where I have this sort of quite near to a grow light will hopefully encourage that variegation and pinkness to come out. I have started to loop around some of these sort of long strands. You'll kind of see a loop there, just to put some nodes into the pot and hopefully encourage more strands to come out. So I might do that with some of these ones as well, but I kind of wanted to show you what it looked like currently before I did that. But actually some of the strands are already splitting into multiple strands, so this will hopefully become a bit bushier even if I only loop a few of the strands round. Obviously the string of hearts is really adorable. It has little heart-shaped leaves, as the name would suggest, and I think it's a really nice sort of hanging plant for lots of people. Either the variegated version like this or the regular string of hearts. So yeah, that is the third plant in my favourites this month. The fourth plant, I don't really know how to show you, but here we have my tray of Coleus plants. If you've been following along my Growing Houseplants from Seed video series, then you'll have seen that these are my kind of big success. It does look really glorious like this, but I'll just get out one or two plants so you can see it better and I don't have to lift up this whole tray. But here are two of the plants. This one I think is my absolute favourite. It has beautiful big burgundy leaves that are about the size of my palm, and even though it's in the tiniest little yogurt pot, it seems to be still pushing out lots more. The leaves have a beautiful kind of scalloped edge. On this plant, the edge is the only bit of the leaf which is green, but some of the other ones do have more green. They look like they would be velvety. They're not really, but I've got other kind of soft plants to feel, so I don't really mind. Yeah, I'm just really proud of the fact that I grew these from seed, although I now have to work out what I'm going to do with, I think, 18 different plants. So definitely watch the future Growing Houseplants from Seed videos to see what I end up doing. This is one of the other plants. As I mentioned, you can see how these have sort of greener leaves around the scalloped edges, but do also have that lovely burgundy colour. This is kind of a faded out burgundy, whereas this is a lot brighter and has some real sort of pink tones down the middle of the leaf. Can't resist showing you another one. They're just amazing. They remind me of the kind of Pilia Moon Valley in terms of its ridges. But yeah, these are just really pretty plants. They're growing amazingly fast and I'm just really proud of them. They're like my little babies that I grew from seed. The final plant on my list of favourites this month is the bear paw cactus. I haven't shown this in a while. I don't really know why, because it's so adorable, and unlike the Coleus, it does have really soft leaves that I do quite like to touch a lot. This also sits on the windowsill in this room, actually right beside the cacti, so it's another one I get to see a lot. It's quite small, just in a 5.5 centimetre pot, and is actually leaning over quite a bit, which is why I'm sort of keeping it this way around to show you, because it looks a bit nicer. So I might actually repot this and try and make it a bit more upright. I think it'd look really nice in a terracotta pot because the orange of the terracotta would match with the very tips of the sort of little bear paws, which have that kind of orangey tint to them. Along with repotting this plant, I should probably also cut off a few of these branches and propagate them to make a bigger plant, and I'll definitely film that process if I do decide to do it. But it just feels a bit mean cutting off the branches, but I guess it then won't be lonely in the pot anymore if I create sort of new stems. This plant also seems to be in its kind of peak growing season and is putting out lots of new leaves. The new leaves are just adorable, tiny little fluffy, fuzzy, succulent leaves, and I love how rounded they are when they're full of water. When I got this plant, I think it was only about £3 from a supermarket, so it was definitely a good purchase. And those are my top 5 plants for June or July, whatever I decide to call this. I do quite like doing these favourites videos and sort of showing off the lovely plant growth that I've seen recently, and I really enjoy seeing other people's as well. So let me know in the comments if you're particularly enjoying certain houseplants at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Friday for another planty video. Bye!